Hello everybody. So Miss Lily decided to come up and join me in this video. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. She's been sleeping all morning while I get stuff done, and she decided it was time for her to wake up. Hi. Okay. Well, I guess I can start talking. So hey everybody, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a recommendation video for you for some damaged heroes. I have a couple of these videos, I will link them down below, of what I've done. One is like damaged heroes and one is brooding heroes. Hello. Thank you. It was from about a year ago, so I have a new list of books. I have about 8. A bunch of them are historicals, and one's dark, and then a few are just regular contemporary, and I've read a million historicals this year, and they love their damaged heroes. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. This is gonna be hard talking with her in my lap. I feel like, so Lacey has Boo in her videos and he's so small that he just sits in her lap. Lily's not small enough and patient enough to just sit in my lap during a video, so I guess we'll stay here. But I was inspired to this video because of a book I just read, which is When the Duke Was Wicked by Lorraine Heath. I just finished this, I think, on Friday, and it was really adorable, and the reason I liked it is because of the damaged hero. Lovingdon is, I want to say, older, because he's about 8 or 9 years older than the heroine. She's always had a crush on him, and he actually got married very young. He was a very straight-laced, good guy, and he fell in love right away, and they had a child together, and then his wife and child passed away. He feels like it was his fault. He thinks that they got sick because of him, so he's very damaged over it. He doesn't want anybody to replace them. He pretty much like turned into a rake because of it, because he's like, I was never bad before, so I'm just gonna be bad now. So he kind of goes through all that. And then our heroine, I'm blanking on her name, is very wealthy and wants to know when she's actually in love and not someone like after her fortune. So she asks Lovingdon for help, and he ends up helping her, and they fall in love in the process. So it's very adorable. By Lily. And he really has to overcome his guilt and grief over losing his wife and his child. And the heroine is so different from his wife that he's like, how am I like having these feelings for her when she's just so different from the love of my life? So it was really adorable. I really like this one. Next, you have to read the series in order, but I could not talk about this book without talking about Ravensong by TJ Klune. Gordo is so damaged because of everything that he went through, and that really affects his relationships and his romance and his ability to love the Bennett family. So Gordo's a witch, and this is werewolves, and they're all MM, and so in this one, Gordo, we actually explore his past with the Bennett family. The Bennett family are a family of really high society werewolves. They're like the pack, right? And so every pack has a witch, I guess, and Gordo, from when he was very, very young, was raised to be a witch, and they really break his heart at one point. And Mark does. Mark is his love interest. It's a second chance romance, and so they end up putting the pack first and don't understand where Gordo's coming from, or they kind of do, but they don't have a choice, and it's all explored in here. And then he has to come to terms with their betrayal of him and his relationship with Mark again, if he can ever trust him or rely on him and get over what they did to him. And so it's very, very heartbreaking. I wanted to cry like 20 pages into this book. So good. And of course, like in the first book, we're dealing with a separate conflict to the werewolf pack itself outside of the relationship conflicts in here. So good. Gordo's so damaged. I just want to hug him, but that was his romance. Then I have Unloved by Katie Regnery. This is a romance about a guy whose father is a serial killer, and so he is freaked out that he's gonna have the same kind of impulses as his dad, and so he hides in the cabin in the woods. So he was very much bullied once his dad was arrested and thrown in jail, and it was very public, and so he ends up leaving school with his mother and moving in with his grandfather in his cabin in the middle of the woods where no one is. And so then eventually his mother and grandfather pass away, so he's living there alone, and this woman ends up going up the mountain for a reason that has to do with her recently deceased fiance. So this does deal heavily with grief, like a lot of these do, and she runs into someone, gets into a situation, and he ends up saving her, and then they fall in love, but he feels like he's not worthy of being loved, and that he's gonna end up being a monster. He's gonna have this innate anger and rage in him. It's so sad. It's just like his damage is because of something completely out of his control that might not even be true. Like, is he really a bad guy? He doesn't know because he doesn't let himself be in those situations. So he's got all these books on genetics, thinking that he's gonna be just a serial killer or awful person because his father was, so he's just secluded himself, but then someone stumbles along the way and like falls in love, and it's so good. I really enjoyed this one. I think you guys would like it too. The next one I have is The Hunter by Kerrigan Byrne. All of Kerrigan Byrne's romances are very, very dark, so be aware going into this, it's very dark. And in this one, our hero was raised in a jail cell with his mother, and she was repeatedly used, abused, and raped by the people in the jail cell, the guards in the jail cell, and he was exposed to it from a very young age. And so he's very, very affected by that, and so he grows up being very hardened and angry, and he's actually an assassin, and so he's very emotionally detached from like everything that happens. He just kills people and doesn't really feel anything by it. But then his next target is this woman, and she is an actress, and she has a child, and he is supposed to kill her and ends up kissing her instead because he can't stop himself, and falls in love with her. And he's just like, I'm supposed to be killing her. He's never had a problem carrying out killing someone, but he can't. And so then there's this whole mystery about who wanted her dead, why people want her dead, and other people going missing, and there's like a whole big thing in here as well. It was really fun because he kept on trying to like go to kill her, and then there's like a competitive assassin who's also trying to kill her, so he's now trying to protect her, and it's just really good. He is still dealing with those residual effects of his past because of how he was raised in the jail, seeing very emotionally traumatizing things happen to his mother. So really good. All of Kerrigan Byrne's books pretty much have damaged heroes, and they're all very dark but very, very good. I love them. The next one I have is Bullseye by Monica James. He ends up going to jail for some reason I don't want to say, but the beginning of the book starts out with him being released from jail and being set on revenge, and he falls in love with someone along the way because he ends up being hired as a bodyguard at a strip club basically, and because he needs money, he needs something to do while he's planning out his revenge. And it's over 2 books, it's a duet, and it's really good. It's really dark, and I really enjoyed these two. If you like dark romances, he's falling in love with this woman, but he's planning to kill people. It is revenge because of what he witnessed, and it was like very traumatic and very sad. We do get that scene, so keep that in mind. But this was really good. If you like the dark romance, check out Monica James. Then I have Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. Our hero is Damaged McKenna because of our heroine. He absolutely gets his heart broken in the beginning because she is high class and he is a servant, and they really like each other. They're falling in love. Someone finds out about it and ships him off, and he thinks that she wants him gone, and she's like, good. And so he comes back later on at second chance. Very wealthy from America, but again, it's like new money, American money, and people are very like snobby about it who are old money in the UK. And so he is back thinking that she never wanted him and she was glad that he was gone, and so he's very hurt by it, just very hardened by it, and it's their reconnection and rekindling. It's really, really, really good. It's really sad how she wanted him to feel that way because she knew he would never leave voluntarily, so he had to leave if he knew that she didn't want him. So it was like, should she have done that? But she did it to save him, but it hurt him in the process, and it's really good. If you like that kind of historical, I would check this out. Then I also have Beach Read because I feel like Gus in Beach Read is definitely damaged because of what happened in his past, and I don't want to spoil it because it is something we aren't told in the beginning, but January and Gus meet, and they knew each other from college. They're pretty much rivals, and Gus lives in this beach house. January shows up and realizes she's next door to her arch nemesis from college, and she actually kind of liked him, and they're both best-selling authors. She writes more romance and he writes like literary fiction, and they decide to swap genres, and like their writing together is adorable, but they both have a lot of things that they're dealing with and struggling with and going through, and they're falling in love in the process, and they go on like writing dates. So they go on like research trips, I guess. So he's writing a book about a cult, so they go visit like cult survivors, and she's writing a romance, so they go on like dates as research, and it's a lot of fun. I really love this book. I thought it was a really sweet romance while the main characters are dealing with their past traumas and emotions over grief and loss and love, and it was great. And the last one I have is Romancing the Duke by Tessa Dare. Our hero is blind, he is angry, and he just wants to be alone, and so our main character shows up. She's the daughter of a best-selling author of a children's book kind of based off of her, and so everybody associates her with this main character of this children's book, and she inherits this castle. She has no money left, her father passed away, and so she shows up like ready to start anew, clean up the castle, and the Duke is there, and he's like, this is my castle, go away. And she's like, no, it's pretty sure it's mine. So he's like, what has happened since he went blind like months ago? He just cut off from everybody, doesn't want to talk to anybody, and so he has to figure out what had happened, and he's like, who is this crazy lady here? And they start falling in love, and it's really sweet, and he's definitely damaged from something in his past, and why he went blind, and why he's still blind, because there's not really a medical reason why he should be blind. And I loved exploring what had happened to him, because we don't know in the beginning. And then we have cosplay people show up from the book that her dad wrote, which is a lot of fun, and he just kind of breaks out of his shell and has to stop being all broody, and it's really adorable. I really love this. And those are some damaged hero recommendations. Let me know down below if you have any for me. If you think I'm missing one, check out my other videos as well, because I've done this video before. And that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.